Hi, Miguel O'Hara is a prowler, and here's why. Hey kid. Yeah, you wanna hear a conspiracy? You guys don't understand him like I understand him. Yo odio que sea severo. But no, it could be a red herring, you guys! This video is rated S for spoilers. That man is a prowler. That man is a prowler. Section 1. Let's talk about dialogue and the storytelling it tells us in Across the Spider-Verse and why he's a prowler. Why is he a prowler? Let's see. Let's go straight to the source. Miguel ain't funny. Reason number 1. Miguel ain't funny. He's just not. He's a lot of things. We'll get to that later. Quip and thwip. These were the ingredients selected to make the perfect Spider-Man. But Across the Spider-Verse very intentionally added an extra ingredient. Miguel is a prowler. Being quippy and funny and full of jokes is like a core essential part of being a Spider-Man. The personality revolves around it. And even Spider-Noir was like cracking jokes, and he's in like a serious drama. And I know what you're getting ready to say. I know what you're going to say. But Danielle. Oh, I'm Danielle. Danielle. He went through so much trauma. He lost his wife and daughter. He was running away with his daughter in his arms away from the unexplained anomaly. And she digitized out of his arms? Did she go to the digital world? Digital monsters, digimon. Okay. Well, either way, he lost her. Yeah, that's traumatizing. That's awful. I hate that. I hate that for him. Miguel, if you're watching, No, seriously, that's awful. You know who else suffered first-hand experience, traumatic events, losing a loved one, usually in first person, usually in their arms, as a direct result of their own actions? Every Spider-Man. Spider people cope with humor. Can't relate. I just think it's so interesting that this one man who has all of these spider people all gathered up doesn't cope in the same way and doesn't have a core personality trait of all the people that he's gathered up into this one building. It's so crazy. Speaking of quips, literal lines of the movie have foreshadowed his prowlerness. Peter B. Parker saying, "We're supposed to be funny. Why aren't you funny?" I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the movie in front of me. I will as soon as it's out on Blu-ray.
Look at this.
I'm trying to hold a serious adult conversation.
You know, you're the only Spider-Man who isn't funny. We're supposed to be funny.
Even within his introductory scene and fight, the cops in the helicopter for short, he's like, "I'm a good guy," after putting away his fangs. And the helicops are like, "You don't look like a good guy." And I was like, I know.
Go to the ground.
You get out of here!
Have you surrounded?
I'm a good guy!
You don't look like a good guy.
When Miguel is on a very scary rampage after Miles, that sweet little 15-year-old in Way of York, oh my God, that was so scary, on the vertical train. And Miles is like, "What are those, claws? Are you sure you're a Spider-Man?"
What are those claws? Are you sure you're even Spider-Man?
I'm like Pepe Sylvia-ing in my chair. Even Miguel himself was like, "I'm not like the others."
But I'm not like the others.
And I was like, I know I'm onto your game. And if you're like, "Danielle, that's a stretch." Remember the time a bagel created this entire movie? Right. Still on the subject of dialogue, even the dialogue shows to serve, and I believe foreshadow. Reason number 2, Miles and Miguel are character foils. Hey, this is Editing Danielle here, and check out this visual character foliage. Foliage? Why does it look like when he's injecting that mysterious substance? It looks so much like when Miles got bitten by Spider 42 in the first movie, Into the Spider-Verse. And yes, I know in the comics Miguel is hooked on the substance Rapture because of the corporation he's working for. Yes. But we're not talking about the comics. We're talking about the movie. This could be such a big twist, and it could also be used as a red herring to throw off... I'm excited. Because those who are heavily leaning on the lore of the comics would be like, oh, he's just injecting himself with Rapture. He could just be supplementing his non-spider DNA with synthesized spider DNA. Okay, back to the video. Everything points to this. Even their dialogue in Spanish, as short as it was, served such a purpose in showing how they think of themselves, what they want, and how they act. And that Miguel is a prowler. Miles, my precious nephew, is full of life, hopeful, optimistic, flexible, looking for friendship, actively kind. You know, like a Spider-Man. His Spanish, that he gotta be in, is relaxed and friendly and full of colloquialisms, kind and friendly, you know, like him.
Te traje una empanada.
It's almost like it's full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. And Miguel is cold and calculating. He's explosive. He actively keeps everyone at an arm's length. And if anyone tries to get close to him... This reflects in his dialogue in Spanish. He says so little, but he says so much. As he steals the empanada that was offered to him, so I guess you didn't steal it, he says,
Qué maravilla.
Que maravilla. I know my pronunciation isn't very good. I probably would have gotten a B in Spanish right next to Miles, to be honest. But it's cutting. It's precise. It's mean, and he just met this kid. He's already keeping himself at a higher literal level than Miles and pushing him away. Wow, how marvelous. You're so mean. He's a man of few stern words. No! You guys don't understand him like I understand him. He's just like so stern. He's got a heart under that cold exterior, but that exterior is very frigid. He's just like really stern, like so stern. Él es muy severo. Español. Yo odio que sea severo. No! Let's talk about storytelling in actions and in animations, okay? Now it's time for us to enter Danielle's Conspiracy Corner, also known as the DC. See. Danielle's Conspiracy Corner. Hey kid. Yeah. You wanna hear a conspiracy? Miles. Our Miles. You know. From Earth 1610. Yeah, that one. The fact that he got bitten by the radioactive spider from Earth 42 left us space in the continuum, which led Miles from Earth 42 to become a prowler. Right? It was because of the lack of a Spider-Man that someone had to step up and step out. I think that the prowler from 42 is a vigilante, Batman style. But what if the same thing happened to Miguel? What if Miguel from Earth 928B is the equivalent of Miles from Earth 42? Miguel, this hurts my voice. Miguel at the end of Into the Spider-Verse was much, much less jacked, quippy, and having a good time. I think that was the original Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man. The other was just like Miles 42, left without a Spider-Man and left without a family. It's too hot. Conspiracies. They're too fresh off the presses. It's too hot. But yeah, anyway, Miles, our Miles, from Earth 1610 is to Miles from Earth 42, as Miguel O'Hara from Earth, the fun quippy one, is to this Miguel O'Hara, the Prowler. Not only would this explain Miguel O'Hara from this movie will say 928B, it would explain why he's missing key components of being a Spider-Man, because he's not. Imagine Miles 42 trying to blend in the Spider-Verse. It's a Prowler! It would also explain Miguel's seemingly unfounded and deep-seated hatred of Miles, because in Miles, he sees everything that was taken from him. He sees everything he so desperately wants. He sees what he can never have and what he can never be. And if he can't have it, no one can have it. Danielle's Conspiracy Corner. And speaking of comparing Prowlers and Spider-Mans throughout the universes, I think it's so interesting the way that Miles interacts with both his Uncle Aaron from 1610 and Miguel O'Hara from this movie, from Earth 928. I don't know. Both Uncle Aaron and Miguel O'Hara, off the jump, are kind of shady. You can see that there's some good in them. Their intentions are excellent. Uncle Aaron was very kind and more of a accessible father figure than Miles' own father in the first movie. He could relate to him. He encouraged him. He was actively a good and loving force in Miles' life. He encouraged his art, and he was a great uncle to him, man. I don't know what else to tell you. I think Miles, in a way, is still yearning for a father figure that fully understands him. As much as Miles' dad, Jefferson, has come along, Miles still hasn't shared all of who he is with his own father. He feels as though he can't. So it kind of leaves a bit of a space to want someone to understand you. In the first movie, Miles didn't feel understood for his artistry and what he wanted to do with his life. In this movie, he doesn't understand for his Spider-Man-ness, his double life. And he wants someone to show him the ropes, man. In the same way that he sought guidance from Uncle Aaron in the last movie, he seeks guidance and understanding and a groundedness in someone to look up to as a Spider-Man. And who better, you'd think, than, the president of the Spider People. Too bad he's not a Spider-Man. Miles' disappointment is repeated, as in Into the Spider-Verse, by seeing that these men that he's chosen to look up to are flawed and untrustworthy as mentors. Now, Uncle Aaron was a lot more, cool and nice than Miguel, but, guys, he was out here unaliving people. I just don't feel like that's a trustworthy quality in someone. He's disappointed, but using his own wits and his autonomy, Miles decides to make his own path. Oh, God! Oh, no! Oh, no. If only a big, strong Prowler were here. Yeah, I just think it's so interesting that Miles, by nature, gravitates towards Prowlers. Since he's met 3 now, there has to be some canon event around that. Let's talk about storytelling with audio. Storytelling with audio. So this freaking team for movie 1 and movie 2, the storytelling has always been on point, whether it's through music, the soundtrack, literally the mixing, the Foley, the sound design, the production, the voice acting, the like literally just went like the time. Sorry, I'm very passionate about movies, especially animated ones. Always have been. That's why I work in them. For the first movie, because of course I have the art book and just learned as much as I could about the film, it was incredible. I learned that the Prowler's theme, Uncle Aaron's Prowler's theme, is an elephant's nailed it. Put through 2 different compressors, and it comes out as this low, strange, familiar, yet daunting and horrifyingly like prickling hairs sound. Which, side note, is an excellent nod to the sound design and storytelling within that. Something familiar yet foreboding tells us how Miles feels whenever the Prowler is near him. You seem familiar, but I'm scared of you. Anyway, back to the Prowler at hand. It's an elephant. I don't have any proof. Here's my dog. This is my dog. She interrupted my take. Everyone say hi to Sam. She's so adorable. Okay. I gotta yell about Spider-Man some more. Yell about a Prowler some more. Okay, I'm gonna have to Pepe Sylvia just a little bit on this one. Listen to this. Now listen to this. Now listen to this. First of all, that's elephants. Miguel's Prowler cue is so much angrier and bombastic and a little more like sci-fi sounding. It's louder, it's longer, and it's like sharper. It's sharper. It's not foreboding. It's not alluding to danger. It is danger. Whereas Uncle Aaron's Prowler theme is alluding to danger, like a smoke rolling in. Miguel's is like, you're being stabbed. POV, omae wa mo shindeiru. Omae wa mo shindeiru. Omae wa mo shindeiru. Let's talk about visuals of why you're a Prowler. You know you're a Prowler. He knows. I did a lot of research on this part of the video. I did a lot of research on all of these parts of the video, but I believe when it comes to Miguel and the rest of the cast, the technical term in film and cinema, and particularly animation, is hottie. Reason number 3, Miguel is too hot. He's too hot. He's too hot. I'm just saying, with few exceptions here and there, the bad guy is always more attractive than the good guy. So we look at the cast. Who is the hottest person on the cast? Hobie Brown. But he is not a good guy. He is an anti-hero. So we're moving right along. It's Miguel. I love him as a character. He is a Prowler. The 2 things can be true. ¿Por qué no las ambas? I think he's a perfect addition to the cast. I loved his moments. Oh, he cussed. How old am I? But he did. I'm not going to tell you where. But he did. And I was like, oh, ay, Dios mío. And yo pienso que es muy guapo también. Y alto. Y inteligente. Valiente. No le tiene miedo a nada. Él cree en su causa. Realmente. That's cool. And hot. All right. Anyway, reason number 4. Miguel is high tech. As far as visual cues that he's a Prowler, he's like super high tech, okay? I think the original Miguel Spider-Man, who is probably no longer with us, was like a true Spider-Man. He probably had some really high tech. They probably are both tech bros, but everything about this guy is super high tech. He doesn't have web shooters. His suit is made of Digimon? Pixels. That's okay. I mean, a lot of spider people are high tech, but like, why ain't got no webs? Why can't you wall climb? Even the spider people who don't do the thwippy, they can usually still wall climb. Like the cat could wall climb. Mayday can wall climb. Miles, before he could even thwip, was wall climbing on the side of the building. Being late for class. Probably Spanish. That's why you got that B. Reason number 5. He has a cape. Also, in his introductory scene on like my second watch through, I was like, oh. But in my head, because I'm a good moviegoer. In his introductory scene, he comes through, zippity-boo-doo, and nailed it. And he has a cape. Look, he has a cape. Look at it. What's a cape for? For a Spider-Man? You know what would be really bad to swing around an urban environment with like pipes and like tattered gates and like razor wire and like dogs that could snatch your cape? A cape. It would be a really bad idea. Like as you're whipping around, like it could get caught on your face. It could like obscure your vision. Like think about like, I'm excited. All of the bad guys who could grab your cape and go like shapa, shupu, baba. There's no use for a Spider-Man to have a cape, but you know who had a cape? I don't know why. That seems really impractical as well, but whatever. I'm not a prowler. Like Edna Mode says, no capes.
No capes.
Reason 5.5. Color theory. Prowler style. Also, I just noticed there's a lot of pink. Instead of that red, that's shifting to pink. Would y'all happen to remember anybody else who has some theme colors with some pink and some red and some blue for good measure? Just saying. Reason number 6. Big old claws. Those things are scary. And they match the exact silhouette of Uncle Orange. And probably Miles 42. Need I say more? I'm scared. Reason number 7. Miguel is literally built different. This goes back to my DC. See? Miguel from the end of Into the Spider-Verse and this dude are literally built different. And as much as I'd like to think that someone can get that much more yoked, I feel like this dude is just taller than him. Hey, for science, I ended up searching how tall is Miguel O'Hara. So in the comics, he's 5'10", and in Across the Spider-Verse, he is 6'9". Remember me as I was before the ferality took over my mind. He's just taller and naturally has more muscle mass because he be doing this up freaking buildings instead of doing this. Those are the technical terms. Really? We're going to sit here and pretend that we both didn't notice the musculature? For science. Mm-hmm. He's very musculoso. You're going to pretend that you didn't notice. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you didn't see that nasty sternocleidomastoid? That's interesting. I know you saw that pectoralis major. Don't play. Oh, you didn't? Well, I'm sure you weren't falling into his trap. Pesius. Yes. Oh, interesting. Your lies will be deltoided with. How do I shove myself into a locker? Reason number 8. Miguel has a prowler moveset. The way he moves is very prowlery, okay? And it's not just the tink, 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 tink up the freaking train, which was, I mean, I'm going to say the apex of his moveset. Like apex predator, like a prowler. Yeah. in the way that most spider people move like acrobats, antelopes, like beautiful, flexible, and agile creatures made for speed and movement in more than one direction. The way he moves, the way he stands, the way he interacts with objects is always very solid, very grounded, very inflexible, but agile. Not flexible, agile. Miguel moves like a lion, solid, fast, climbs trees very fast and weirdly fast, but mostly on the ground, ready. Stay ready. They don't get ready, they stay ready. It's almost like he's on the prowl. For instance, Gwen uses kinetics and grace, flexibility, webbing. Miguel just jump, run, grab, throw, power, big. It's giving prey and predator moveset. Look at this run and tell me that's not a lion. Oh, and what do we have here? A leap and a pounce and swatting and absolutely destroying things in one hit? Not unlike a big cat located in Africa. How interesting! Which isn't to say he doesn't do some acrobatics, but largely he uses his webs to just get him somewhere so he can run again. Or as a finishing move. Well, don't we have Uncle Aaron's Prowler here looking very predatory, looking very grounded, looking very big cat. And instead of using sane acrobatics, really leaning on that groundedness and technology usage. Interesting. That's the thing about spiders. The way that they traverse leaves no trace. Like maybe like a web here and there, but it disintegrates. The way that they wall climb, it's taking pictures and leaving only fingerprints, you know? But the way the Miguel moves around is full of destruction. He leaves a trail of broken pieces and destruction and a lack of functionality a lot of times. He stay breaking stuff in that chase scene. Does not seem very spider-like to me. He's also very top-heavy, which I believe is for a lot of climbing up things, but also the grabbing of things, the holding of things like a bride. The way he moves, not just in like action scenes either, the way he moves all the time. For instance, when he's on the search for Miles after Miles is taken to Earth 42, he comes out of the interdimensional portal with Ben, Riley, and Jess, and he's just literally Reason number 9, the Prowler icon. Another thing, the silhouette of his costume. Now, just bear with me. Me for reference, freaking Miguel. So his suit, right? It goes along those clavicles, right? It has a little red hook here that goes towards those beautiful traps. And there's black space here, and it like... Do you know where else we've seen that silhouette? It's everywhere. Everything about him is Prowler. What about him as Spider-Man? Actually. This is visual foreshadowing, and it's brilliant, if true. Reason number 10. The team is on point. This movie and Into the Spider-Verse are triumphs. Do you understand how the stars have to align for such an incredible team to gather like this for these kinds of properties like keyframers, storyboard artists, writers, revisionists, producers, executive assistants, casting directors, voice actors, voice coaches, did I say in-betweeners? Compositors, Foley artists, the people who get licenses for music, sound designers. Every single person had to bring their A game, and they did. I love this movie so much. The only thing that did me dirty was leaving me on that cliff, man. That's not right, man. I don't have prowler phalanges and metacarpals. I can't hold that. I have like herbivore hands. Miguel's a prowler. Subscribe.